Welcome to the year 2022 in Images. I am your host and narrator, John Mack. There were many unique and interesting issues that I and other Newtown Township supervisors confronted in 2022. This is a selection of images that document what I consider the most interesting news items and issues of 2022. Many of these were highlighted in my News of Interest to Newtown area residents email newsletter, Twitter account, Facebook page, or website. In 2019, I spoke to several residents and business owners who were concerned about speeding and pedestrian safety in the vicinity of North Sycamore Street and Silo Drive, which I labeled a dangerous intersection in November 2021. At supervisors' meetings, I often asked if there was anything the police department or the township could do to ease traffic there, such as installing a permanent solar-powered LED speed indicator or flashing pedestrian crossing lights, like the ones near Chandler Hall. With the anticipated increase in walkability and further traffic issues in that area, I was concerned that car versus pedestrian incidents would increase in the future, and it may be time to discuss possible remedies. However, it took a pedestrian death on the crosswalk at Silo Drive and North Sycamore Street on December 21, 2021, for the township to finally act. In January 2022, the Township Engineering Company provided the township with a memorandum of recommendations for improvements at this intersection. Piano striping was added to the crosswalks in February 2022 and brighter lighting in the fall. Yet to be implemented is the installation of pedestrian-activated flashing beacons and possibly lowering the speed limit to 25 miles per hour. In January 2022, there was growing concern over a Newtown gun show to be held at the Newtown Sports Training Center in March. On January 24th, a notice of violation was sent to the owner of the establishment, the Newtown Racket Association, or NAC, indicating that the Newtown Sports Training Center property was not zoned to host events of any kind. According to a subsequent zoning enforcement settlement agreement between the Board of Supervisors and the Newtown Athletic Club, the Sports Training Center will be allowed to host event-style shows at the venue, just not gun shows. However, the Sports Training Center would be allowed to hold an event like an outdoor or camping show once a year that may have the presence of guns, but not as the main attraction or primary purpose of the meeting. At its April 5th, 2022 public meeting, the Newtown Township Planning Commission reviewed Wawa's latest and what it considered its best land development plan for a superstore on the bypass. Recall that Wawa was already granted a request by the Zoning Hearing Board for a special exception to allow this use, but was denied variance requests regarding the number of fueling stations and signs. When all was said and done, the Planning Commission failed to achieve a consensus to recommend that the Board of Supervisors approve Wawa's plan. The Board of Supervisors on October 26, 2022, by a vote of 3-2, denied approval of the plan. On April 13, 2022, the Newtown Board of Supervisors unanimously voted to divest township pension funds of Aberdeen Holdings, which at the time included Russian securities. This was in support of Ukraine fighting for its independence from Russia. Approximately 78% of respondents to a survey I hosted supported this action. On May 3, 2022, Bucks County Planning Commission representatives gave the Newtown Planning Commission an overview of the concept of an overlay district for the business commons, explaining that within an overlay, some loosened requirements or additional uses could be added to the existing zoning. Recommended uses include athletic facility, medical office, retail shop, service business, eating place, repair shop, entertainment, and a tavern. It was reported that disagreements between some Council Rock School Board members and Superintendent Robert Fraser over COVID-19 protocols played a significant role in his departure from the district. Another more likely reason for Fraser's departure is the fact that at an August 2021 Council Rock School Board meeting, Mr. Fraser said, "We will not be teaching critical race theory. Critical race theory will have nothing to do with the Council Rock School District. Critical race theory," said Mr. Fraser, "is not coming to the school district." He also said that diversity, equity, and inclusion and critical race theory aren't even close to being the same thing. And one of them I very much value in our school district, and one I very much do not. On May 23, 2022, representatives of Pennsylvanians for Safe Technology hosted a Zoom meeting with Andrew Campanelli, Esquire, who is a national expert in telecommunications law. Mr. Campanelli reviewed a draft of the JMZO Wireless 5G Antenna Ordinance and summarized several problems, including lack of protections against excessive radiation, random testing provisions, effective notices to the public, and ADA compliance issues. The Joint Zoning Council subsequently hired the Cohen Law Group to provide legal assistance in crafting a more effective ordinance that would include responses to certain issues raised by residents, including the health effects of radio frequency emissions and other concerns. In July 2022, gunshots were fired within the Newtown Township municipal complex. No injuries were reported, but 2 township civilian employees were walking along Municipal Drive at the time and saw the gunman drive by twice. At the July 13, 2022, Newtown Board of Supervisors meeting, Newtown Ambulance Squad Chief Evan Resnikov requested that the Board of Supervisors authorize the solicitor to place a referendum on the November ballot to include an additional $500,000 real estate tax increase to fund emergency services. Here are the official vote tallies. Yes, 6,246. That's 57%, versus no, 4,618, or 43%. On July 14, 2022, former West Rock Hill supervisor Jim Miller gave Newtown supervisors Ellen Snyder and me, and members of the Environmental Advisory Council, a tour of West Rock Hill's solar array facility. This is the first solar array in Pennsylvania to provide 100% of a municipality center's electricity. On Facebook, Kirsten Piotowski-Zoloff commented, "Exciting. I hope you can import that idea into Newtown. Ms. Snyder responded, "That's the plan." The Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority considered an offer from Aqua PA, a private company, to purchase its sewer, but not water, assets for $1.1 billion. Newtown supervisors approved a letter to Bucks County commissioners opposing the sale, which had the desired effect. The plan was scrapped. In May 2022, the township engineer informed the Board of Supervisors that the Lower Dolington Road Trail project encountered some unexpected utility conflicts, i.e. underground cables, during construction. The discovery stopped the project dead in its tracks, leaving behind unsightly construction debris, cones, barrels, and netting. The cables had to be relocated because they would interfere with the underground infiltration trenches designed as part of this project. The project was delayed for so long while waiting for the cables to be relocated that weeds grew through the traffic cones, littering the site at Stanford Place and Lower Dolington Road. It took until December to get the work done and the debris removed. It is uncertain, however, when construction on the trail will begin again. By a vote of 3-1, the Newtown Township Board of Supervisors, at its September 28, 2022 meeting, approved a women's reproductive rights resolution, which, by my analysis, was the first and only such resolution passed by a Bucks County township. Because of potential developments bordering the Newtown bypass, such as Wawa, a senior home, an apartment complex, and even billboards, I created a new Facebook group. You've heard of NIMBY, which stands for Not in My Backyard. The group I created could be called NAMBY, Not on My Bypass. There has long been opposition to development on the bypass, which many believe was intended to be a greenway when it was first built. The NAMBY Facebook group informs members about potential new developments along the bypass and is a forum to discuss ways of preventing overdevelopment on the bypass. Colorful flyers with a dark underlying message began showing up in Bucks County mailboxes immediately after the midterm election. "Whose children are they?" asked the leaflet while extending an invitation to the Green Parrot Pub for drinks, dinner, and the showing of the film that equates the U.S. public education system with Marxism and asks why educators are encouraging racism, sexual promiscuity, perversion, and communism in the classroom. However, many members of the Newtown community, including several Council Rock teachers, opposed the showing of this film. Bob Lutz, the manager and co-owner of the Green Parrot, said there were threats against him and his restaurant. Newtown Township Supervisor Ellen Snyder warned Lutz that his restaurant would be picketed. "I was told it would be in my best interest to cancel the event," Lutz said. "I felt I was being bullied," he said. In the end, Lutz decided not to show the movie. On December 14, 2022, Craig Deutsch and Bill Mailer, members of the Newtown Joint Historic Commission, visited the property off of Twining Bridge Road that Toll Brothers agreed to donate to the township as part of a settlement agreement to build 45 homes nearby. The goal was to examine the old farmhouse and spring house on the property to determine if the site qualified as an historic resource according to Joint Historic Commission standards. Guiding principle number 8 of the Newtown Area Comprehensive Plan states protect historic resources. Well, we just discovered a major one, said Mr. Deutsch. Pedestrian activated overhead flashing strobe lights and a reduction in the speed limit to 25 miles per hour have been put forward as solutions for what residents consider an unsafe Newtown Yardley Road mid-block pedestrian crossing at Tara Boulevard. In response to concerns raised by the residents of Newtown Walk, the supervisors voted on December 7 to discuss these suggested changes with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. After meeting with PennDOT, the township engineer informed supervisors that Newtown Yardley Road is a township turnback road and PennDOT approval is not necessary for the township to lower the speed limit. However, PennDOT will need to review and approve the design of the pedestrian-activated overhead flashing strobe lights. Thanks for listening to my presentation. Be sure to visit my website at www.johnmacknewtown.info. It's chock full of information about issues of importance to Newtown Township residents. You can also find important township documents, my email newsletter, my personal points of view, i.e., my blog, and links to videos and audio podcasts.